Before we get this video started, I do just want to say that I don't condone any harassment against Ralph whatsoever. I just want to say that. I didn't say it in the previous two videos because obviously my channel size is very small. I do forget that Ralph does have people who are more vitriolic in his comments than even I was, and I don't even think I was very vitriolic, so I do want to apologize if you received any genuine, over-the-top personal negative backlash, and I do not condone that whatsoever. But we're here, and we are here to talk about this whole situation because there have been a lot of updates, and I need to get some things set straight on the record. If you didn't know, Ralph actually commented on the situation on Twitter, and he did say this. Honestly, I don't know why Film Tape's video about me got removed. I DM'd him. I said he should re-upload it. I'm sorry he had to go through this. I emailed YouTube as well. Stop asking me about it. That is the statement that he has released. And if we're being honest with each other, if that's all that I heard from him, I would say that I would feel kind of bad. It seems like he's getting an influx of requests to talk about this, and it's overwhelming. And you never want to see one of your favorite creators overwhelmed, so I understand the response to it. That being said, there is a reason why I have not responded until now. There is a reason why that original video is still up. And I would like to discuss the proof and evidence that I have garnered to make me think that there's something else going on here. I want to go about this in the most fair way possible. So let's start off with the DM, which is what started everything. I think that the wording of his tweet is a little bit misinformed. I DM'd him first. I was the one who initiated the conversation. That was me. I reached out and I said, hey, I wanted to see if you are actually the one who did this, or if you are interested in having a conversation on the channel. There's a lot of things pointing to it being you. I'm not going to leak him, but there are a couple of things that I do need to say in order to get the point across. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. He says a fair amount of things, but the two things that you take away from this is, A, he said, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. He's not taking the blame for it. He doesn't know what happened. Okay. Other thing that we need to note is at the end he says, if you want to, you should re-upload the video and see what happens. Something about this DM didn't sit right with me. There was an ominous nature about it that I couldn't quite decipher, so I started to look a little bit deeper into this whole situation. There is something that I omitted from my previous video for the sake of privacy. I thought I was doing something good, but now this is something that needs to be brought into the light. There's a specific part, if you look at the original video, that I've blurred out, and that is the email attached to the copyright strike. The email is ralphthemoviemaker@gmail.com. And frankly, that's where a good portion of my suspicions came into play, but it was one of those things where I didn't want to release it publicly. I felt weird about the whole privacy of that. But it's important now to give you context on why there are so many things pointing to it genuinely being him that the evidence is almost irrefutable. So the email is there, ralphthemoviemaker@gmail.com. The first thing, and the thing that I saw that was most common amongst the comments, is, hey, anyone could have filed this strike. Anyone could have done it. And they're right, but they're also incredibly wrong, and let's go over why. Before we go into the strike thing, the first thing would be someone could have just made that email up. Even though Ralph the Movie Maker is an intellectual property that I couldn't see someone handling that Gmail and getting that Gmail before Ralph actually did, it is a legit concern, so we do need to cover it. So I was like, maybe and in fact, after that DM, I was like, maybe I am going crazy. Maybe I am wrong. So I went and I literally just looked up ralphthemoviemaker@gmail.com on Google. And what did I find but 2 pages for his short films, The High and King Candy. And when you look under the contact section, it does say ralphthemoviemaker@gmail.com. So, there is no doubt in my mind now that ralphthemoviemaker@gmail.com is a real email address ran by Ralph, considering that he put that as a contact information for his short films. I don't think this is disputable. We are going to file this under the evidence. The thing that would then come up from people who are defending him and want to cover all aspects of the situation is, listen, someone could have just put in that email. So let's deconstruct the dichotomy of a strike. A strike is not a claim. A claim just sees footage and says, hey, that's my footage. You can't make money off of this video. A strike is premeditated. A strike is not automatic. A strike is something that comes with thought. A strike has a specific form that you have to fill out against a video, including your address and your personal contact information. Once again, that being said, technically anyone can file a strike in that situation. But here's where this comes into play. If you go to file a copyright strike, in the email address, you have your email address that is associated with the YouTube account there. There is absolutely no way to change that email address. It is there, it is grayed out, you can go over it, and there's nothing you can do about it. So just showing you an example, if I go to file a copyright strike, my email address for this channel, tapebusinessyt@gmail.com, is there. I can't do anything about it whatsoever. I have to just, I have to use that email to file the strike. So regardless if the name Ralph Seppi was fake, the email cannot be faked. So then we go back to the previous point saying that the email is genuinely his email. These are now two indisputable facts. If we put them together, it is pretty much impossible that this strike is not coming from Ralph. This is a strike that has to be coming from Ralph. If you need a cherry on top, even though the evidence that I'm providing should really be enough, if I go to the email and then I click on the ralphthemoviemaker@gmail.com email, and then I click on the profile, you will see that his picture shows up, his YouTube profile picture. Now, as we know, this is something that is linked to the YouTube account, so it is his genuine YouTube profile picture. The only way for that not to be the case is if, like me, you run a brand account under your main YouTube account, and it's like a separate account for your YouTube channel. I have done that with a bunch of different projects that I'm interested in doing, but brand accounts were introduced in what seems to be 2019, and Ralph's channel is much older than that. But once again, none of that should matter because his email is forcibly associated with the strike, and we have now proven that that email is genuinely his email, and it is a valid email. So, let's go over the options of what happened here, or what could have possibly happened. To me, there are three possible things that could have happened, and we'll go over the one that is the best case scenario for every party involved. That is that somebody has access to Ralph's account, whether it be to upload videos, whether it to be manage strikes or something along those lines. Someone has access to it, and that someone knew about my video, and that someone filed the strike, and Ralph just genuinely has no idea about it. Do I think that Ralph would let something like that happen and not have an active part in his channel? No, but it is a possibility, so we need to address it. If that is the case, then this is bad management on his part at the very best. And you need to be more careful about who you let access things, especially considering how you feel about fair use and strikes and things like that. Option 2, you filed the strike yourself, but then you realized that it was a mistake, and you are actively trying to get me to re-upload the video because you won't strike it down again because you realize that it's a mistake. If that's the case, I would genuinely like to have a conversation with you. And I understand how you're feeling, but considering the responsibility that you have with your audience and the influence that you have, lying to me about that is not a beneficial thing. And I don't appreciate it very much. Then there's the third option, which is you did take down the video, you don't feel any remorse about it, and you're trying to get me to re-upload the video in order to just strike it down again, this time with immediacy, so I have no ability to fight the strike or make the decision to delete the video, because that is what saved me from having to go through the hassle of fighting the strike. If that is the case, I really don't have any respect for you, especially considering you lied to me in order to make me feel comfortable. Those are the three options that I could feasibly see it being, and any way that you cut it amongst those three options, it's not a good situation. There are ultimately two reasons that I made this video. One, I want to clear my name of any thought that I could have possibly misinterpreted the situation. I do not want to come off as a hater. I do not want to come off as someone who is slandering anyone. I want to come off as someone who has reasonably come to a rational conclusion about the situation placed before me. After this video, I will not be speaking about the Ralph situation on this channel again. You have the evidence. Do with it what you will. The only exception is if Ralph is willing to have a conversation with me about this whole ordeal, because I know that it has come from his camp. The only question that's up in the air is whether he knew about it or not. So that's the whole thing. Thank you for listening to me. For those who actually watched the video and did not blindly dislike it when Ralph came out with his statement and saw that I am actually a rational human being who really tries to take all parties into account, I genuinely appreciate you. Thank you. It means a lot to me, especially because I am a smaller creator who will never get the benefit of the doubt over a bigger creator with an established fan base. Ralph, I would like to have a conversation with you. It doesn't even have to be about all of this. I was initially wanting to have a conversation with you about your content and why it is the way it is now. If there was anything behind the scenes that I was missing, I wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt, genuinely. If you want to have that conversation, that's totally fine. If you don't want to ever speak on this ever again, also totally fine. But the truth needs to be out there. All of my points from my original video absolutely stand. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. There's going to be a much, much more lighthearted video coming on Wednesday. If you have any questions about the situation, leave them in the comments. I will answer the questions. Also, all of the proof, all of the screenshots are in the description. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will talk to you in the next one. Goodbye for now.